are starting to get added up. Right now we are at 28 vehicles involved. That number is significantly higher than what we had last night. And a lot of that is because once the debris from the semis and cars under semis, and once we could get in and really start doing a car count, that's why that number really went up. So we're at 24 cars and 4 semis for the total of 28. We are still unsure the number of fatalities. We're just saying multiple at this time because there's still some things that we got to look into and check for accountability to the vehicles and drivers to make sure we have all of them. The 6 people that were taken to the hospital, I still haven't heard any condition on them as far as injuries or severity of injuries. So we're still working, like I said, on that. The driver of the semi that started this event was taken into custody. He is being processed and will be lodged at Jefferson County Jail on multiple counts of vehicular homicide. Those charges are stemming from interviews and evidence that was gathered overnight. And at this time, that's where we're staying with the suspect. Obviously, when we get to the jail and in court stuff, then all of that will be released. But that's the kind of the latest with the driver of the semi in that.
Is that driver injured?
He was injured and but not seriously.
Can you tell us anything about him, Ty, in terms of ID or anything?
No, not at this time.
Is he from Colorado? You know?
No, he is not.
If he's being charged, does that mean you've determined that this was not accidental, that he didn't lose control, maybe the brakes went out, that this wasn't a vehicle issue, but it was self, that it was his fault?
Yes, correct. The proximate cause of the crash is on the driver of the semi.
Speeding? Or?
Well, I can't go into the facts. It's still evidence, and we're still building some of that. So I will just say that we feel at this time we have enough probable cause to charge the vehicular homicide charges. And so like I said, the evidence is still being built, but there's enough probable cause at this time to support those charges. And once we get going with that, then we'll still build the evidence and continue with that.
Any evidence that drugs or alcohol may be involved?
No, at this time there's no evidence of drugs or alcohol.
Do not know how many, the official count of how many deceased?
No, we're still working on that. That's why we're staying with multiple. A lot of that is working with the coroner's office because we want to make sure notifications and like I said to begin with, we got to get a count of cars to people, and then we can kind of go from there as far as unaccountable and who the drivers were. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Unfortunately, yes, there are, and that's part of the process this morning, is to work with that. I think a lot of it was due, or because of daylight. That will certainly help with the recovery process there.
Any indication it might have been a runaway, that he lost his brakes? A lot of people are asking that question. Just know if that was...
Right, that's certainly a question we're looking at. I can't say right now either way, but like I said, that is certainly one of the topics that we're looking at in the investigation.
Which semi was it? There's 4 under there. Which one was it? The flatbed one that lost control?
Yes, it was the flatbed one that was carrying the lumber, the 2x4 cargo.
That's the one he was behind the wheel.
Correct, yes.
That was the vehicle he was driving?
Yes.
I know you haven't determined the number of fatalities. We're still matching those up to cars. You know if they were in separate vehicles. Do we have any idea of how many vehicles had people that were killed?
Right. I think to answer your question, at best I know, it was all single occupants of cars. And like I said, we're still working on the final count of cars to people.
Ty, when would the driver be in court to face these charges? Do you know?
I don't. I have no idea. He hasn't been lodged yet. Right now, he's just in the process for booking, and because it's a crash, he has to be medically cleared before he can be lodged at jail.
Is that possible that could
Was he
happen?
injured in the accident?
Yes.
Is that possible that could happen today? That would be the next step.
Yeah, he'll be lodged at some point today. Now, at that point, I'm not sure the next process as far as arraignment or advisements go. That's to the courts in their process.
Is he the only person expected to be charged?
At this time, yes.
Is there an age of the driver or anything you can tell us at this time?
No, not at this time. We'll certainly put it out as soon as we get to that spot. We are ready to release it. We're just still building, and being that he's being processed through us, we're just not releasing any of that information right now.
Ty, if your investigation turns out that there was some sort of mechanical problem with his vehicle, would homicide charges still be possible against him?
Yeah, that's a pretty general question, because there's evidence of witnesses and video and things like that, as opposed to the mechanical evidence. So it's the big picture, as far as what evidence we have, and go from there. But I do believe that the vehicular homicide charges will still stand even after the mechanical inspection is done, to what it can be done given the damage and the fire and all of that.
A driver has a responsibility to keep his vehicle under control no matter what the condition of that vehicle or the roadway.
Correct.
And even while not ruling out a possible mechanical issue, do we know, is that a dangerous spot for semis? Are semis having any trouble that you've noticed here in Lakewood in the past, down that section?
I don't know, being it's not in Lakewood. Yes, I've driven it myself, and you see semis all the time. Yeah, you got to assume so, being a downhill grade and the weight of those semis. So.
Really not the brakes, as you mentioned there, but is there any possibility that this was intentional?
No, we don't have any indication that this was an intentional act by the driver at all.
When do you think the roadway will be open?
It's going to be several hours. I know we have Josh here from CDOT, and he can certainly answer some of those questions. Our process is, when we get the road cleaned up from the police investigation side, then we will turn it over to CDOT let them do their maintenance part of it to make sure the roadway is safe. And with that, like I said, those are questions that Josh can certainly answer.
Josh, you
Okay.
Thank you. When
So,
will the roadway be open, Josh? What are you looking at?
right, the big question. As Lakewood Police was saying, as soon as they finish the investigation, then we'll be able to get on site and get a better view of, what is the condition of the bridge and the pavement. We've had eyes on the structural elements of the bridge and the pavement, but we haven't been able to get close enough to really make a hard assessment of that. I would anticipate as soon as the scene is cleared, we'll do a full bridge inspection, make sure that that's safe to open. Preliminarily, it looks like it'll probably be okay, but we do have some major concerns with the pavement. There are some places where we would anticipate we're going to have to hog out all of the pavement and pave that back. So I would assume several hours of work, and I wouldn't anticipate the road's probably going to be open until sometime tomorrow.
Any idea if the overpass was hit at all, or?
It doesn't appear that the bridge was hit.
So it would be fire damage.
We'd be looking for fire damage on the superstructure.
What can fire do to a roadway like that?
Sure. So depending on the heat, it can turn that pavement into rubble, essentially. All of the oil and the tar that's in there that holds it together just burned away.
I wanted to ask a question about, we heard from West Metro Fire that there were people who were impeding firefighters by getting out and taking pictures. CDOT obviously constantly warns people to be careful on the roads. Is there any indication that other careless drivers are contributing to problems? Any message you want to tell to drivers who've been out of their vehicles on roads to take pictures in scenes like this?
Yeah, certainly don't get out and take pictures. Stay in your vehicle. Keep doing what you're doing. Pay attention to the roads. I think there's a bigger message here of, I think we lose sight that vehicles are deadly weapons, and I think all of us get a little careless at times, and we need to be more careful when we're driving.
Was there a fuel spill, environmental impact?
Yeah, there was diesel spill on site. We've had hazmat out responding to that. There is going to be some more cleanup, but again, we can't get to that till the investigation is complete.
Well, Josh, does it appear at this time that some of that road surface, if it is damaged, will have to be resurfaced as well before vehicles are allowed back on it?
Absolutely, I'm anticipating that we're going to have to mill out some asphalt and pave back asphalt.
The last time I remember seeing a fire like this was I-25 almost 2 years ago now. Is this similar in terms of the impact maybe what would happen to the road there?
Yeah, it is similar. I think it seems like the temperatures on this one were hotter, so I would anticipate more pavement removal and replacement on this one.
Being the engineer, do you know what fire burns at and at what temperature it can do damage?
I've heard reports that the hot spots of the fire were up to 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. There's definitely aluminum that has melted. That would tell us that it's over 1,100 or 1,200 degrees, but it looks like most of the steel is intact, which is a much higher melting temperature, closer to 2,500.
Anybody else? Josh, thank you
Good.
very much.
Thank you.
Next update, will probably be a press release. If you guys want to do a press conference, you could send one